Hello there. You're watching and listening to another Scoutcast from www.fantasyfootballscout.co.uk, and my name is Mark.
My name's Granville.
My name's Jonty.
My name's Andy.
It went to Jonty there, just as you said it. My name's Granville, so it now looks like Jonty is Granville, but he's not. Granville is back. Welcome back, Granville. It's got nothing to do with having a great game week, does it?
Go on,
there
say
you go.
I'm only here because I had a good game week. You realise that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, okay.
It's funny you should say that, because I nearly had to bail tonight, actually, last minute, and I got the worst game week. So that was in the back of my head when I thought I might have to not come tonight.
79 points, Granville. Very, very impressive indeed.
Good. Yeah.
We'll go.
I still can complain, though. I didn't captain Kane.
Yes, well, we'll talk about Kane in a bit. That was very painful. I didn't want you to bring that up. Welcome to the Scoutcast. We're going to talk lots and lots and lots about double game weeks, blanks, triple captains. We've got so much to cover. We're going to look at our game weeks in depth. We've got rough as a smooth from the community as well. Lots of community questions on the double game week issues and plenty. And Jonty, we're not going to be able to shut him up. He's got long answers, short answers, a lot. Granville, we've got an echo, so you're going to have to use your headphones, I'm afraid, because that is coming out and that is going to cause us a problem. So plug your headphones in and we'll come to you in a moment. But right away, let's start with our game weeks. We'll start at the bottom then while Granville sorts that out. Andy, 43 points. What can you say?
Not a lot, really. Indeed, really. Yeah, it was awful. No one really did anything. Crouch went off early again, so we'll come on to double game week soon, but I'm kind of now stuck with a player that's probably not going to play, and I'm going to have to play him. Took a hit, bought in Funes Mori and Mane for -4. Funes Mori got the bonus point. I would have had to play Amat. Obviously, he wouldn't have come in anyway, so that worked out all right. Ali finally got me some points. I captained Lukaku, who was like second highest or third highest scorer. So for how my team did, that captain choice was good. But overall, Kane and Eriksen just punished me really this week. And Mane doing nothing is a big disappointment really. Against
so how are you feeling about Mane? Because obviously there's a little bit of a fallout from that. People are panicking and people are even selling now as well, I noticed. But how do you feel about that? It wasn't very impressive, but Liverpool were pretty awful, weren't they?
Yeah, I think Liverpool as a whole were poor. I'm not panicking too much because they got 2 home games coming up. And it'll be just like Liverpool to go and beat Arsenal. And then they got Burnley at home, which is a good fixture. So these are the 3 I kind of got him in for. Anything above beyond that is kind of a bonus. So, yeah, I'm not panicking just yet. Certainly won't be selling. There's way too many other options to be looking at right now. 2
home games as well, Arsenal and Burnley. Not too bad. I think no panic there, but yeah, about you've had a good run as well, Andy. And it's just
and part of me just like looked at it and thought I've started looking at about 5, 6, 7 different transfers I can make. I got thought no, I've had a few good weeks. I can't just write everything off for one bad game week. So fingers crossed for this week.
Coming to you next, Jonty. 48 points, not brilliant either.
Not brilliant.
What's the story of that then?
Yeah, just above average. So tiny red arrow. So it's bad, but so it could have been so worse as I've experienced this season. So yeah, Coleman, main man again. Got an alley goal. Really pleased about that. Obviously, I don't own Kane, but it's not like I didn't think about getting Kane. I can't pretend I was going to get him last minute, anything like that. I got the alley goal. Happy with that. Mane. Yeah, failed to deliver, but I kept my 2 free transfers. So I always knew I was at a slight risk with Stanislas and Carroll, and Phillips came out of the blue. These are the injuries. So I ended up fielding 10 during the week, which wasn't ideal. But I've got my 2 free transfers in the bank, and I kept Ibrahimovic. So I'm looking forward to him against Bournemouth.
Yeah, but presumably not going to catch them if the double comes in. But yeah, I mean, I fear him. He's obviously done very well while he's been out of league action. The goals have been flowing, so I do fear that. But 2 free transfers, so presumably you're going to load on City, but we'll talk about that later on, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay, myself, 67, not bad. Didn't have. I mean, the thing is for me, I got rid of Ibrahimovic, and I thought, well, I'm going to do a short-term transfer. It's going to be Costa or Kane, and I went Costa. My logic behind that was that I thought, well, Spurs have played 3 matches while Stoke have been in Dubai. They played at Wembley with 10 men for 60 minutes. They're going to be a bit tired. They'll probably beat Stoke 1-2-0. Won't be a massive win. I can go Costa because he likes Swansea. He got the goal. I was really smug and happy on Saturday when he got the goal. And then Sunday lunchtime, I was out with the family, and the day I just got quieter and quieter as the goals went in and the points. And it was awful. I just didn't see it coming, and nor did Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes, how must he have felt? Take the boys to Dubai, come back 4-0, and he said before the match, "Oh well, when we lost 4-0, we're a much better team now." And it was 4-0 after 35 minutes. disaster. But yeah, that was my game week. No, I've got to be happy with 67, but it could have been so much better. Last 2 weeks, Captain Sigurdsson over Sanchez, got Costa over Kane. I could have been a lot better off. Never mind. Granville, to you, 79 points. Your moment of glory. Off you go.
I guess my moment of glory was actually the day before when I had Macaulay and Coleman, because you don't expect to get double points off 2 defenders in a game week. I can't remember it happening very often before. And Macaulay coming good again. He's incredible. At the expense of Brunt again. Coleman's a funny one, because I was looking actually on Friday night, looking how I can upgrade my Ake, who I've had for ages, and I've lost 0.5 million on him. And I couldn't find a way to do it. So in the end, I just I thought, well, I need to get Carrick out because he's not going to play on United's blank. And he's only there really as a passenger, really as a bench fodder. So I thought I'll have to upgrade him. So I went, I dropped Phillips for Morrison and upgraded Carrick for King. And it worked out right, actually, because the enabler, Morrison, enabled me to get King. And I spoke to you, didn't I, the night before? He said that Pulis said there was a hamstring in his team somewhere.
Yeah, you said he had 1 or 2 niggles.
And you thought it was Morrison, and you put me off. I was just thinking, what I'm going to do. And then in the end, I just thought, I'll just go for it. You know, I mean, if he doesn't play, he doesn't play. At least I can get King in. And it turns out that I did the right thing because it was Phillips who had the hamstring.
Yeah, I mean, that was out of the blue. I mean, people with the local press were going, oh, it could be Chadley and Morrison because they felt their hamstrings 2 weeks ago. And I read it and went, well, and they actually said, but we're only really speculating here. And I was like, okay. And then there was chatter about, oh, yeah, it's more. I think the Guardian reported Morrison and Chadley as doubts on the basis of that local press report. And I'm like, well, no, that's not right. So, but all I was saying to you is that's what the chatter was. Yeah. But it turned out to be.
So I really got those two in because they've got they've got full game weeks coming up. So I just thought it was just about the best thing I could have done. The other thing I could have done obviously was sell Ibrahimovic, but I was always looking at this week, this home game against Bournemouth. Yeah. Even though I'm probably not going to captain him now if City do have this double game week. Regarding Kane, I didn't know about the third. Well, I was out in the afternoon, and I came back, switched on the box half time. Spurs 4-0. I'm thinking I went straight to the FPL to see how Kane had done. I thought, well, maybe an assist, maybe a goal, 3 goals. I mean, it's just 3 goals and an assist involved in everything.
The thing is, it's great when that happens. When you're out and you look at the score and it's like 3-0, you go, I've got a player who plays in attack for that team. And as you're browsing, you're hitting the button going, surely he's got at least a goal. And you think within seconds it's confirmed. And sometimes it's so disappointing when it's like, oh, well, I saw
when you refresh the page and it says latest points at the top, I knew I'd already had a good score from the Saturday, and it refreshed and I had this mammoth score. Not a mammoth score, but a really good score because he was on 16 points at that point. I thought, excellent. And then second half comes and I'm thinking, he might actually be able to get something else. Well, it always works. It always ends up that way that you end up.
Well, Stoke got better, almost as if Mark Hughes had a quiet word of them. I think he might have just said a few things at half time.
They didn't want to get embarrassed anymore. But and it just went through the motions really in that second half. Kane could have scored again. Actually, he had a good chance.
He's absolutely on fire, and he's coming in my team over anybody, any other striker once the doubles and the blanks are over. That's for sure. No, I mean,
regarding the captaincy. The only reason I didn't captain him is because 2 weeks ago I captained him over Lukaku, and Lukaku scored 4 goals. So I thought I'm going to do it the other way around this time, and sod's law, it's Kane who gets the 3 goals and the assist. So I can't get the captaincy right. I'm not complaining because he had a good game week, but there you go. It's just to do really well in this game, you've got to get everything right, and that's that's obviously a problem.
Well, I mean, I look at it, and I haven't had the Kane haul. I didn't have the Sanchez haul. The only one I've had is the Lukaku one. Really, I've had a few good scores from other players through the season, but I've missed 2 of the big 3 popular hauls now. And I'm not. I've done all right because of that.
I guess you've hit a few. I think you've hit a few Sanchez captaincies at the right time.
Yeah, but not spectacular.
There's a few things, but you've kind of kept staying. Well, what was your rank? 2000.
1800. 1800.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, and you still got a decent score this week. I mean, you know,
even not having Kane at all, so it's fine. Rough or the smooth, Jonty. Let's listen to what the Andy Goddard is on the list.
Yes, he is. No, I put him on it. He didn't submit himself, but I put him in because there's been a camaraderie amongst us down at the lower reaches of the moderators.
I saw his tweet.
League.
Yeah,
but he got 55, so that's okay. But he captained Vardy. He's been sticking with his Leicester players all season, and finally they come alive. So he got 26 points alone from Vardy.
He had Vardy? He hasn't had Vardy all season, though, has he?
I think he on and off. He's pretty much had him on all season. I think he's still got Mahrez as well. I mean, he is diehard Leicester when it comes to FPL. So, so that's great. So the thing is, if Leicester keep playing like that, Andy is set for an incredible run because he's going to be the only one with all of these Leicester players. Because still people aren't going to. It's going to take. Well, I mean,
he might catch you, Jonty, if you're not careful.
But the thing is, we're so far. I don't mind at all. There's, as I said, there's a sense of camaraderie down. There's no competition. We're all all in the depths.
You don't want to come bottom of the
quicksand.
But Andy's replicating Leicester's season. You know, like top.
Oh no, you
top
can't.
Last season and near the bottom this season. Well, he's bottom.
You cannot. You cannot begrudge Andy.
Oh no,
getting some. There's no way that supersedes it all down there. I think.
There got some nice fixtures coming up. I've looked at that. It's literally as soon as Vardy scored the first goal, I checked the fixtures.
Thinking about it now.
Yeah, Stoke and Sunderland at home soon.
So we've got
to go for Fuchs again. I had a disaster with him. Actually, did I get him? I think I did get him. Yeah, got a disaster with him. It was like a couple of zeros and a 1 in 3 weeks.
Yeah, but you kept him for about 6 weeks. That's why. I mean, I got him. I think. Did I get him? No, I didn't. I avoided it in the end. But
it was straight after he had a really good run. I think we all said it, didn't we? We were all going to get him. And Mark actually backed out. That was actually a good move.
Yeah. Well, we've got a few more smooths here. Got Boris Bodega. So we got Coleman in. Okay, a few people got him. We've got Laurenti in as well. So that's pretty cheeky, really, before Chelsea. And he scored. And Diesel 001. He did Ibrahimovic to Kane. So that's great. You know, as part of a hit, also saw Pogba move to Firmino. So that hasn't worked out, but you never know. Firmino got a couple of home games. Got a couple of roughs here. The rumour mill, I feel sorry for him because not only did he not, so he didn't have Kane. Okay, so lots of people didn't, but he lost 40 points on virtually all his mini league rivals. The top 4 there, they all captained Kane. So, and it got worse because it's like when I had that terrible November. It's like it never rains but it pours. So if that wasn't bad enough, then he had all of those injuries as well. Phillips and all those types. So he ended up with 9 players. So he's 2 players down. Ended up with 47 points. I'm going to watch his mini league slide away. And Striker FC, once again, he had Friend, Holgate, Stanislas, Phillips all not playing. And then rain never rains but it pours. Antonio got a red card for it.
Yeah, that was unlucky, wasn't it?
That's just the way it is when you're down.
A bit harsh.
Yeah, these two I thought were quite rough.
Yeah, the Antonio red was a bit unfortunate. That was his first red of his career as well. He's not that type of player, as they say, but yeah, very unfortunate indeed. Still, at least he doesn't miss 28. He's back for 28, which is what matters. Okay, community questions. It's double game weeks, isn't it? We've got to talk. We don't know yet. It's Tuesday night. When this goes out, we will have known, and we will know whether City have beaten Huddersfield and whether they've got Stoke and Sunderland in a double header. But this has been recorded before that, so these are known unknowns we're about to discuss, so please forgive us. Second week running, we're just going to be behind the times, Jonty, but never mind. Let's talk Man City then. What questions have we got? Right,
so Jacket Potato and Andy kindly asked, because I told him I'd done some research on it. It says, will we be triple captaining Aguero in game week 26? Game week 27, should Man City beat Huddersfield? So, quite a few people were asking.
Here we go. Strap yourself in for this.
So I've consulted Pacino, who, for those that don't know, he's our kind of resident expert on double game week planning and blank planning, all these types of things. So, my answer is yes, I'm considering triple captaining him. But the question I need to be asking myself is, are there better triple captaincy candidates down the line? I think that's the key thing. So I've consulted him. And so this is the short answer, okay? Outside of Aguero, the best bets for a triple captaincy are probably going to be either Costa or Hazard, but only if Chelsea lose their FA Cup quarter-final, and that means they will in game week 34 probably have Southampton and Watford at home. We know Hazard's home record. We know Costa's reliable. They're good. Sanchez is another possibility if one of Southampton, Leicester slot in to a couple of great double game week potentials. Game week 32, they already have Palace. Game week 33, Middlesbrough. So you really want one of those to fit in there. But they equally, one of those great fixtures could fit into game week 35 when they have Tottenham away. So that's not great. Or game week 36 when they have Manchester United at home. So one of the reasons that they're so limited for triple captaincy is the assumption is that game week 37 is going to be absolutely huge for double game weeks. So that's going to be a good one for the bench boost. So you probably want a wild card before that, get your bench boost out then. And game week 34, you think, oh, I'll save it for then. Well, that might end up being a single game week because the postponed matches will move there, but a lot of those teams are involved in the FA Cup then, so they'll miss a fixture. So just end up being a single game week on paper.
Yeah, because the way it works is that midweek is reserved for replays as well. So any team still in the cup at that point won't be given a fixture that week. Yeah, I don't. Well, we're presuming a lot of this is speculative and presumption.
Well, also at the weekend they'll have an FA Cup game.
Yes,
at Wembley. So that game will be cancelled. So the rearranged game from another time will move into that week. But then they'll have another one, which will then have to move to game week 37, which will be a bench boost week, ideally. So that counts them out. So conclusion is, yes, Aguero is probably the best. I like Sanchez. I would love to triple captain Sanchez, but you're on a 50-50 slot that one of these great double game weeks happens, or it's an absolutely atrocious double game week involving something like Tottenham away.
Or Andy Carroll against Swansea and Manchester United or something like that. Imagine that. Yeah. Imagine the horror of that.
Exactly. So they're looking at that. So Aguero, he's had lots of double-digit hauls already this season. He's got 11 goals, I think it is. I think he's had 16 starts. So they're pretty good figures. He's got a great pair of fixtures, Southampton and Sunderland and Stoke. So yeah. I think he does look the best. Yeah,
and looking at stats as well, still more shots. He's shooting more often than any other striker in the Premier League. Yeah. Still, I think he has shot every 18 minutes. He's averaging, which is quicker than anyone. So when he plays, he shoots a lot. Still, he hasn't lost that. I guess it's just a question of, are we going to be certain he's going to play? Let's come to Andy first of all. How are you feeling about playing it on Aguero? I mean, first of all, are you getting Aguero? I guess is the first question.
Yes. I think so. And originally, when I thought there was going to be this double game was going to be later down the line, I was looking at probably just Sané and Sterling because we'd have got Kane and Ibra, etc. But obviously, we don't have that option if City wins. So, 100%, I think I'll get Aguero in one way or another. Triple captain stuff. I've looked at all these fixtures that Johnny was just chatting about, and it seems to boil down to either captain is someone who we know 100% has got great fixtures, but the form isn't quite there. Or down the line, having a player like Sanchez, who we hope will still be in form, he might not be at that point, who could have worse fixtures. I'm tempted just to play it now because he's got the good fixtures. I think the Huddersfield game will give us a good indication of whether Aguero is going to play twice. I think if he doesn't play or doesn't start in that Huddersfield game, and he doesn't have to come on and do a lot of work, then I think he'll play both games. There's also Sterling to look at. Potentially it isn't quite as explosive as Aguero could be, but yeah, I'm looking at doing it because I feel like the thing that's kind of making me struggle with it is the fact that it's so early in the season compared to the other ones, which I think is playing on a lot of people's minds. That shouldn't really come into it, but it will because we're FPL managers and that's what we do, overthink everything. But I think right now I'm thinking go for the fixtures. But I am a bit worried because obviously there is a chance he gets rotated and there is a chance that he doesn't carries on with this form he's been having, but I don't know. I feel like after last year, it can't get much worse, really, than Carroll, like you said earlier. So, yeah, right now I'm looking at triple captain Aguero.
Okay, let's go to Granville next. You have your say. I mean, I've got plenty on this, so Granville, over to you first.
I think my early worry is the amount of games that he's going to be playing. I mean, they don't have Jesus now. He's going to be playing 2 in game week 27, then the cup game week 28, then Champions League. In a really important match on the is it Tuesday or the Wednesday they're playing? Let's check. Playing on the Wednesday. They're playing on the Wednesday. So that's 4 games in 15 in 11 days.
Yeah, but
that's quite a lot.
Okay,
that's quite a lot. I mean, that's quite a lot to expect him to play 90 minutes and all those.
Yeah, but you're presuming they're going to play him at Middlesbrough in the FA Cup if they get through. Why would they do that?
Well, who else would they? Okay, why would they do that? Because it's a cup and it's a trophy. I mean, I don't know. It depends how Pep looks at it.
But I think you've got to work back from the Monaco fixture. If you think that Monaco is the most important fixture, and I would say it probably is, they're 5-3 up. You work back from that. If you think Aguero will start Monaco, why would he start against Middlesbrough 3 days before? Surely Middlesbrough is the one where you rest him for Monaco. Do you not?
Well, I presume they're going to do that, but there may be rest. You know, he may rest. I understand that, but he may rest him in the double game. You just don't know.
No, of course we don't know. But
and it's so unpredictable. It's very, very likely that I'm going to do exactly the same thing and get Aguero and triple captain him. But there is always that thing in the back of my mind that it's Pep, and he's been unpredictable in the past, because you can always play De Bruyne up front, which he has done quite a few times this season. So you never know, but it's that, and measure that up against a potential Sanchez captaincy, triple captaincy later in the season. I think it might maybe one of those things that you might end up regretting.
Yeah, I mean, this is it for me. There's a few things. One, I'm not mentally ready to play it, which is what Andy was alluding to. It's really weird in that I almost think that's a decision I'm really comfortable putting off until the end of the season, when everyone... We all seem to be in the same boat last year. We were all going in together, weren't we? It was like all hold hands, let's go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Whereas now, it's doesn't feel like that.
You sort of do that with a lot of things, though. I mean, like with Mane as well this week when everyone got him. That's the way it is. There is a lot of the people thinking exactly the same way, and I presume that on the website most people are going to be doing this.
Well, I don't know. I just feel personally I'm not mentally ready to play it, but I look at it now and go, the longer we go into the season, the more chance there is that Chelsea have got the title wrapped up for a start, right? And we don't know what impact that's going to have on the chasing pack. Now, you've got to think...
Well, it won't have an impact on Arsenal, because they'll just... I mean, on Sanchez, will it? I mean, they know that they're not going to win the league. They need to get...
okay, fine. But then it comes down...
United, where Ibrahimovic gets a double game week, which he's likely to.
But it comes down to then top 4 places. But you've got to think that motivation will diminish as we go, possibly diminish, as we get nearer the end of the season. Certainly game week 37 for a start, when we're all bench boosting, that's going to be a bit of a lottery, because everything could be decided by then. So that's... I
don't believe that. I've never seen Arsenal so motivated when they've lost the league. I'm not being funny, but they will actually start. Someone like Sanchez is a great triple captaincy option later in the season. I don't care who they're playing. They're playing the lower sides. He's got. I mean, all his big scores have been against the lower sides this season.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that Alexis Sanchez isn't a great triple captain option. Of course he is. All I'm saying is, right now we absolutely know Man City have still got everything to play for. So when they play Sunderland and Stoke, they will still think they can catch Chelsea. Surely they've got to think that. It's not over yet for them to catch Chelsea. So we know for definite they are highly motivated for those 2 league games. Got to be. Also a factor, their goal difference is very inferior to Tottenham's and Chelsea's. So even if they're looking top 4, goal difference is a factor in Pep's mind. He's got to go after goals. And City, for me, are already a team where they're not like United, where they go 2-0 up and go, right, okay, that'll do. Let's just manage this out, Mourinho style. Pep, the Monaco game, 5-3, is probably what we're going to see a lot of. They're just going to go. If they let in 2 or 3 at the back, doesn't matter. We've scored 6. So City, for me, you look at it, Sunderland, Stoke, I think they want to win those 2 games as a priority, and they'll think about Middlesbrough later, because Monaco's then the priority. And I think they're going to go for goals, because I think they've got to get that goal difference up. So those 2 things are nagging me to play it, because I don't know if later in the season we're going to get that scenario from Arsenal. You say, oh, yeah, they're going to be highly motivated to the end. Well, they probably will be, but we don't know that. Whereas we do know City are.
And plus, you don't know anything can happen from now to... I mean, someone could get injured. Sanchez could get injured, and you may not have that opportunity again.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's one of the reasons I'm looking at this week, because that could happen. Obviously, you can never bet on injuries, but I feel like we have all the info now. In 10 weeks' time or 8 weeks' time, we just don't know what will be there, whether we'll have a better or a worse opportunity.
Yeah, what's funny, we're talking now, and this is going out before the Huddersfield and Sergio could have played his league tomorrow. I hope that doesn't happen. John T, what's your thoughts on this?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's as I said earlier. What it is you look at with a double game week and then using a triple captaincy. You're just looking at those. You're looking at, can the player get me a double-digit haul for 2 weeks in a trot? Well, Aguero can. And are the fixtures great? And they are. They're brilliant. They're probably the best they're dream fixtures for a triple captain. And as I said, Sanchez is the one I would really want. But further down the line, that outside of game week 37, it's either going to be a great double game week or it's going to be like something like Tottenham away and stuff. And as we've seen before we were coming on air, I had a quick look through at Sanchez's big hauls, and they're all against poor teams, apart from when he got a double-digit haul against Chelsea. But that was Chelsea. That was the turning point for Chelsea. Chelsea became good from there on in. That shocked them. So, yeah, he's a flat-track bully. So you want the great fixtures for Sanchez. If he hasn't got them, then he's probably not actually a great triple captaincy option. In comparison to others, yes, but in comparison to Aguero against those two teams, I don't know.
So what do you think? I mean, we're going to go on to Man City assets in a minute as well, Man City midfielders. Do you agree with my point about their motivation and the fact they're going to go?
Well, I do totally, and I agree with that thing about working back as well. Looking at that Monaco game, and then you think, well, who's going to be rested? Well, it's probably going to be the likes of Aguero and De Bruyne. It's going to be Iheanacho. I mean, it is Middlesbrough. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. Middlesbrough are really good or anything. they're not that great, and the so-called B team of Man City should technically be able to beat them.
Yeah, and also, is he going to care if they do go out the FA Cup? They've got Monaco.
He does. Now, Pep does like cups. He is big on them, and throughout his career, he does go for the cups in all of the leagues that he's played in. So no, I don't think he's not like he's thinking about other things. I think he is motivated for cups. But it's as you say, it's just like as Andy said as well. We have the information now. If Aguero has the double game week, Man City beat Huddersfield, which we shall find out later, and then also, if he's not injured, so if he's fit and he's got good fixtures, we've got that information there. It seems, whereas down the line, we just don't have that. And yeah.
This is that one thing. It's the unpredictability of Pep. That's what gets me. And I mean, they're playing Stoke, aren't they? Is it the second game of the double game week at home? And that's probably the easiest fixture of the lot. And I mean, he could rest him. He could take him off early and save him for a cup game. You don't know. You don't know what he's going to do. You can't be sure.
Yeah,
you can't be sure, but you've got to think if he's looking at a game to rest players, it's got to be the one before Monaco. You think?
I mean, I have it's like, because of where I am in the rankings at the moment, I don't have that specific pressure. If my triple captaincy fails. I'm not like, oh my God, that's the end of everything, because it's kind of already
it's for me.
But if I was where you are, Mark, as I was kind of this time last season, then it is everything, because if you get that wrong,
thanks for that.
But I mean, you still end up with a great rank.
Yeah.
But you won't. But you'll constantly think, oh, what could have been? Whereas I'm not going to think that. So I'm quite happy to just go for who I think is going to be, with all that information at hand, got good fit, ticks all the boxes, form, fixtures, all of that. So he's got that for me.
The thing is, we're going into it back in Aguero, who's a completely different player to what we've known in the past. E.g., he's got sent off twice, and we're back in a manager who's almost makes a habit of annoying us with his team sheets. So it's really nerve-wracking. I mean, that when that team sheet comes out against Stoke, if I do go triple captain, oh God,
it should be like this, really. Aguero has been nailed on. For all the seasons he's been here, and I mean, does Pep really rate him, or did he just want to stamp his authority on the team and just make decisions? Like he did with dropping Hart and bringing in Bravo. Is that all he wants to do? And now that he has to play Aguero, well, he has to play him anyway. But
I think if Jesus was available, then we wouldn't even be talking about this. It's just going nowhere near him. But
before Jesus was available, Aguero was still getting dropped.
Well, we had quite a few posts on this, and lots of people were analysing when he was dropped, and a lot of them were based on him coming back from injury or suspension, so lacking the match fitness, and also around European games. So we don't know. I mean, that's it. I mean, there's a risk. There's definitely a risk with Aguero. I'm not going to deny that, but we just got to assume that he's going to play. Hopefully.
Andy, what are you going to say?
Yeah, I was pretty much along the same lines. What I'd like to, I haven't checked it, was the last time they did play false nine with one of the midfielders when Aguero was fit, because when he missed out for his suspension, Iheanacho kind of got like half or 60 minutes of one game, then he was out. He didn't play again.
Yeah, De Bruyne played, didn't he?
So like Johnny said, yes, if Jesus was fit, he'd be a worry, or we wouldn't be talking about Aguero, but he's not. So I don't know if he's going to play Iheanacho, if he was that adamant he wasn't playing last time. I don't know if he will go back to a false nine when he's played a striker for so long now with Jesus, etc.
You know that game when Aguero came back, when he'd finished his suspension, he didn't even start that next game for some reason. Pep didn't start
him. That's right. No, or the one after that.
Him on. I thought, well, maybe he's doing it because he thinks maybe he's rusty, but
somebody Jesus. I mean, I think Pep was thinking Jesus is my main man now, and Aguero can just trundle off to Real Madrid or wherever next summer. But now Jesus is out of the picture. He just doesn't have that option. It's Aguero.
But also, we can look at it and say, well, he could play a false nine in Monaco. But the only reason why I think he might not do that is because what Aguero did to Monaco in the first leg. And I think psychologically, you play Aguero in Monaco, having, he scored 2 goals against them and he did cause them a lot of problems. It was just an attacking game, wasn't it? And you got to think, is he really going to go to Monaco, play a false nine and try and contain them? Like he tried that with Barcelona, didn't he? He was trying to go there, false nine and keep the ball. Is he going to do that in Monaco? Would you not play Aguero against Monaco when he scored 2 against them at home? I think you would, but we're trying to second guess the most unpredictable Premier League manager there probably has ever been, I think, aren't we?
Pretty much, yeah. It's going to be a nightmare. Like you say, once it gets to the deadline, we're going to be looking at that team sheet. We're going to be worried the whole way through. Like we can sit here and talk about this for another couple of hours to try and convince ourselves, but it's still going to be a worry on deadline day.
But can you imagine the sight on the minutes before the team sheets come out for Stoke? Can you imagine the lull that Aguero owners that are going to come out if it's going to just be?
Wasn't it against? Was it against Burnley when he came back? He came on and then he scored, didn't he?
He did, yeah. That was it. Everyone was like Lola Aguero owners, and then it was all Lola non-Aguero owners. Yeah,
well, that'll be it's going to be an entertaining night if the double drops in and that happens. Okay, we'll move on. Let's talk about Man City midfielders because there is choice there, and we've touched on Sterling and Salah. I guess that's going to be the centre of the questions we've got here.
Yeah, so fantasy philosophers, Sterling or Salah, which midfield is best, and Viper strips. What about both of them? Or ignoring Aguero altogether, or just getting Aguero and both Sterling and Salah. So there's lots there. And so I had a look over the last 4 game weeks that Man City have played, and Aguero there just 1 start because this is the Jesus era. 1 start, 10 goal attempts, top of the goal attempts for Man City. So that's how good Aguero is. And Sterling's up there matching him there. So he's had 4 starts and 10. So we know that Sterling's got all the stats and he's got the goals, he's got the assists in him. De Bruyne there, really, really good underlying stats as well. Silva as well. Now, Silva's the chance creator there. He's had 10 chances created. Silva's a really good differential, unusual City option, I think, if you want just a short-term City option. And then, of course, there's my mate, Yaya Toure, on penalties.
Are you not going there just for sentimental reasons?
Maybe. I mean, I've got 2 free transfers. I'm looking at Aguero and Sterling. For me, that's a given. And then I've got 1 more, so I want to take a hit for 1. So part of me is thinking Grant at Stoke because cheap goalkeepers.
Oh, that's a bit dullard though, isn't it?
It is a bit dullard, but he's got Middlesbrough at home, so you hope he gets some points there. And then hopefully just rack up the saves. Yes, he'll concede, but he'll just because he does rack up the saves against these.
Andy's going to agree with this because he loves a double game week. A double game week is all about getting.
Andy's going to load up. I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean. Lee Grant might get you 7-8 points. Well done, but
I would be
Salah
thinking,
could get you 15-20.
The problem is, I want to replace, say, Stanislas, for example, and there's no one in the City. I'd have about 6 million spare. I can't really get a City midfielder for 6 million. So, and I don't really fancy any of the Stoke midfielders there. So
you can get Fernandinho. And then
getting
sent off.
I can't believe it. It's like, oh, don't be dull and get these players. Get Fernandinho.
No, I just think Lee Grant for a hit just sounds like the most unsexy move I've ever heard.
Andy, get Fernandinho. That's much sexier.
Come on, put him straight.
Midfielder.
It's very Grant Holt-ish.
What I'd really like is Aguero, Sterling, and Sané, but the blank kind of messes everything up because I've got to bring any player I bring in pretty much. I have to bring in for a hit.
Yeah.
If I want Aguero, I have to take out Lukaku or Ibra. And then pretty much whoever I bring in, I also need to add another hit on to get rid of them to fund players in 28. Even if I don't want 11, I still need to take hits to get like 8 or 9. So for me, it's like I feel like I have to get Aguero because it's fear factor, and then Sterling is the second choice for me. Like he's number one midfielder, and then I really like Sané. I think there's always, or at least it feels like I'm probably just remembering the stuff I want to remember. It always feels like someone scores highly who no one's expecting. I think it could be Sané. I know a lot of people are starting to rate him, but I don't think he's the one most people will pick. They'll pick Sterling if they're choosing one or the other.
Yeah. This is it. I look at it and think if City could get, I think they're going to get 5 goals over the 2 games. I would say that would probably be the minimum they would get. I think they're going to win. I mean, Sunderland and Stoke at home, they should get 2 at home, maybe 3. Southampton's just beaten Sunderland at the Stadium of Light by 4-0. You've got to think City will get 2 or 3. So I think 5 is probably the likely outcome in terms of goals. And you kind of want to catch them all. You go, well, if I get Salah, Sterling and Aguero, I'll probably get 4 of those 5 goals there, or at least get assists with them. So it is very tempting.
They're nice prices as well.
Yeah, I know exactly. And I saw a post someone said, if you work it out, if you triple captain Aguero, right, that is 3 players over 2 fixtures. So you're basically getting, because you're trebling Aguero's score over 2 fixtures, that's 6 players. If you then get Salah and Sterling, that's 4 more players. You're effectively getting 10 players playing Sunderland and Stoke in a Man City team. Think about it that way, and it's quite incredible.
That's
an interesting way of looking at it, yeah.
Because you look at it and go, I'm getting 10 players playing for Man City against Sunderland and Stoke for a cost of 8 points. Doesn't sound too bad, does it?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's not 8 points in and 8 points out, though.
Yeah, well, I guess so.
I mean, I'm with you. I think double game weeks are special, and a lot of people have said to me, what about Aguero, and why bother getting these City players in for double game weeks?
Everyone always says this.
And they always say that, and I just think, no, where have you been the last 10, 12 seasons? Double game weeks are incredible. They're the best times to be a fantasy manager, wherever you are in the rankings. You get these amazing, remember Sessegnon, last minute goal. You get all of these, and Jason Punchin even got like 20 points or so.
What's great about them is they create stories. So even if we do it and it goes wrong, we're going to get a story out of it.
Yeah, brilliant, really exciting, and I think you want to be part of that. And I mean, I remember I got hooked on double game weeks. I think it was that Rooney one.
Confessional now.
Confessional. Yeah, I mean, when Rooney got 32 points across 2 games and captained him, 64 points. God, imagine triple captaincy then, but 64 points from one player. It was incredible. And you want that kind of thing to happen. If it doesn't happen, well, it doesn't happen. But to get that, it's exciting.
What do you think about Stoke assets? Because I've got Crouch, and obviously now I'm worried. I'm pretty sure Berahino is going to start, and Crouch could be on the bench. But I don't know, someone like Berahino or Peters, maybe, if you don't already own them, could be good scouts. No, wow, that's
no one at Stoke.
Can I just ask a question which we haven't? If City don't have a double game week, they still have good fixtures.
Yeah.
Are you considering, because then they'll have the same amount of fixtures, but with no blanks?
Well, then they'll have a game week 38, which means I've already got Sterling in. Sterling's come in for me.
That's a good choice.
Because basically Stanislas was going down. I needed to get Sterling now. I've still got the money for Aguero. So I looked at it and went, well, even if the blank doesn't arrive, he's playing Sunderland away. And then he's got he's got a game week 28 fixture, so I want him anyway. So I got him straight away. Why would you wait? It's not.
Well, I think it only for Aguero. I mean, that's the only way. Yeah, you'd only wait for Aguero really, because you need him for the triple captaincy. You're not. You could triple captain Sterling, but I think you'd prefer to do it on Aguero. So that's why you're waiting really to see what happens with him.
Yeah, no,
I don't think anyone's going to get him. I don't think people get him if there's no triple captaincy, because you have to then downgrade one of you. I mean, I'll have to sell Ibrahimovic or Kane, which I'm reluctant.
Yeah,
I'm sort of reluctant to do that.
No, but I'm absolutely getting. I got Costa in last week, knowing I was going to get Aguero when the double arrives.
Will you still get Aguero if the double doesn't arrive?
I'll probably get Ibra, to be honest, so I can cover the Bournemouth fixture, I guess. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Well, no, I probably will, because Aguero will have a game week 28 fixture, won't he? So what striker is there better to have other than Lukaku than Aguero? So I probably will, yeah.
Yeah, especially at Stoke home.
Yeah.
I think you're slightly over-egging the pudding with City, I think. They're actually scoring 2 goals a game, not 3-4 goals a game. I know that the fixtures are good, but just look at the fixtures that they played in, over the season. They haven't always racked up big scores against the lower teams. I just think you were just going a bit over the top before.
I know, but I don't know. I watched the Monaco game there. It was brilliant. I mean, that was
but that's a one-off game.
I know, but I think, as I said to you, I think they're going to go for goals. They're going to go all out to score as many as they possibly can. Especially, they know they've got 2 fixtures while Chelsea have only got 1, so they can close the gap. I think they've got to win them, and they've got to try and make a load of goals up, in my view. But again, we're trying to second guess, aren't we? John T, let's move on, shall we?
Well, let's go. The final bit on Man City here. Man City defenders. So Jarvish is asking, should we be considering Man City defenders? They have a double game week. 1 goal conceded in the last 5 domestic games. I haven't checked that, so I'm just going to take his word for it. And easier to bench as well in Man City's tougher games. So, I mean, I've had a look over the last 4, and there's a name there. This I tell you what, this name screams double game week differential. Absolutely, Kolarov. There he is. 4 goal attempts.
I didn't know you were going to say that.
And he's getting a nice healthy CBI score as well. The clearances, blocks, interceptions, creating some chances. And he starts. Well, he's slightly injured at the moment, so you've got to keep an eye on that.
No, he is back in training.
He's back in training. So for me, for my 3rd double game week player, a player that's capable of, this is a long shot, but if you want a double game week differential, Kolarov. I can't think of any of the other ones. No thanks for me.
Yeah, no, he's playing centre back, but he'll take set pieces, won't he?
Yeah, exactly. He could be on penalties if Yaya Toure is not on the pitch as well.
Not a single mention of no mention for De Bruyne. He's gone down.
Well, it's because of his price. I think it's because of his price.
But also he's playing deeper.
Yeah.
I think he's been getting deeper and deeper. And Silva's one who's been coming. Silva still has been coming forward, but he hasn't actually been getting any points. But yeah, he seems to be the playmaker, but he does play quite deep now. De Bruyne, well, he certainly was the last few weeks. I don't know and his output is quite low. I mean, he's still having shots, but he hasn't scored for weeks.
It's that price, isn't it? He's
why would you?
Priced and so annoyingly this season for what he gives, and he's just not. He's not competing with Hazard, Sanchez, and Sterling's out competing him.
Yeah, it was funny. Earlier today, I was thinking I'm going to put like a frustration 11 together. The players that have frustrated us the most. I hadn't thought of De Bruyne, but he would probably be in it because he is at the start of the season. We all look at him going, he was going to be up there with the leading point scorers. He should have been up there with Hazard and Sanchez, challenging those 2, and he's just not made it. He's done well for assists, but now Eriksen's taken over there as well. Just hasn't kept pace for his price, which is, we don't know why it is. He's had a good season. I thought he was going to be player of the year the way he started, but.
Yeah,
just not the case. Going back to the defence, yeah, Kolarov. But the thing is with defence, rotation is guaranteed, absolutely guaranteed, isn't it? Fixture to fixture, I would have said. Do you not agree, John?
Well, you can't. I can't even second guess the fact that you might rotate them. I personally wouldn't go for anyone apart from Kolarov, and I'd be very doubtful for doing that. But I'm just thinking for the audience there, for those that like to take a risk, like a differential gamble, Kolarov does.
Well, it would be lovely if we had a smooth story out of the double game week and Kolarov delivered a couple of double figure scores. That'd be amazing. But... yeah,
I triple captain Kolarov. I got his 20 points. So I got 60 points. I got 60 points from Kolarov. That's what we want to be hearing next time.
John Stone's not a shout. 4.7.
Well, he's always in the mix of BPS, isn't he? He loves his passes.
And if afterwards, 4.7 is benchable. Don't necessarily have to work. If I get someone like Kolarov in 5.8 million, I want to play him every week. Whereas. Yeah. John Stone's 4.7 million. I feel like you can bench him and not really worry about it. Could be. I
prefer to get someone like Peters, or someone a Stoke player to get.
Behave, Granville.
Well, if he's got a double, then I don't want to spend too much on a City defender. Not this season.
No, I hear you there, but 4.7 I think is an acceptable rate. But again, with Stone's going to play in both, maybe.
This is the problem.
Yeah,
he's probably not, and we just don't know. I think Clichy's coming back as well now.
Yeah,
going to cause issues. I'm not going anywhere near the Man City defence personally.
No, fair enough. Okay, quite aptly, the next question is about quality over quantity.
Well, yes, this partly stemmed from we had a burning question on site, and one of the points that you raised, Mark, in there was that you're not so bothered about game week 28 as long as you've got the key fellas in, your likes of Lukaku and Sigurdsson, you're happy, and you're more focused on the double game week. So, Jacket Potato asks, is it best to load up on quality, not quantity, for game week 28? Reminder to everyone, a whole bunch of teams are missing out. There's probably going to only be about 4 games on. So who are the must-have players game week 28? And the Rock asks how many starters we're going to be having, and FPL Virgin asks, are we missing out on points and ignoring players because we're looking at our players who have game week 28 fixtures. So we're looking at our West Brom flops and etc., like our Bournemouth players sitting on our bench and not getting rid of them because we got game week 28. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the point. I looked at your team and you had Carroll and Daniels, and you're obviously not going to get rid of them because you know 28 is coming, but actually they're not doing you any good in the meantime. And it's like...
I mean, I made this point before about getting rid of them. It's like, who do I replace them with? They're essentially bench fodder that in game week 28 can come on and get me perhaps 2 points, perhaps more. You never know. But yeah, Stanislas, I think, is the main problem. He's just not even getting a single minute. So he's not getting any chance whatsoever. And the likes of Phillips, if fit, Carroll, especially if fit, could all do well in game week 28, possibly. So I'm happy with that. So yeah, I mean, I do agree with the sentiment though. I mean, I've got Coleman, I have Lukaku, Sigurdsson, Mane, but Brunt, Heaton, and then I've got the main players. So I'm not looking to invest more in game week 28. Put it that way. Because in game week 29, we'll come on to a bit later, game week 29 fixtures shift. So I'm not looking to get any more quantity than I've already got.
Yeah, and I think there was a discussion I had with Num on the site about this. Afterwards, he was disagreeing with me. Fair enough, but I think my point was, of course, I want 11 for game week 28. Everyone, I'm not arguing the idea of not having 11 is great. Of course, it is, but my point was, I'm not going to let the quest for 11 stop me getting Sterling and Aguero and perhaps Salah, because I just think there's potentially more potential, if that makes sense, in 27 than there is in 28, because I look at the fixtures in 28 and go, well, for 11 players to score a big difference, if someone with 11 beats me by 20 points, fair enough, but to do that, there's got to be a lot of goals in this fixture list, and you look at it and go, where are they going to come from? Because Everton, West Brom could be very tight. West Brom don't concede many. Hull, Swansea, relegation battlers. Is that going to be a goal fest? Liverpool, Burnley. Well, I've got Mane. Everyone's got Mane, so I'm not going to lose out there unless people double up, which some might. Bournemouth, West Ham. Yeah, okay. West Ham could get a few goals there. That's the only one I'm worried about. Perhaps is Carlo Antonio, and I might get one of them in to cover West Ham getting a few against Bournemouth. But other than that, I don't see where the points are going to flow from. That was my point.
And then when they're all playing each other like that, you're not going to get attacking and defensive points because they'll all cancel each other out.
Yeah, all bonus as well.
If you have Carroll, then you can't have Daniels. So Daniels won't get a clean sheet. So there's not enough potential there to mess up your team to try and get 11 out. I'm going to try and get as many out as I can.
Yeah,
but I think what I did say to you the other night, though, is that you, Mark, that you're sitting on 4 players who didn't play last week. I know he's got rid of Stanislas, but what are you going to do with Matt and Ichibi and Chambers?
Yeah, I mean, this I probably will get perhaps Mawson in for a Matt, and whether I clear Anichibi out, I don't know. That'll be the idea is if I'm going to get a couple more 28 players in, it will be to get a Matt and Anichibi out, because then at least I achieve that too. So even if you're
struggling though, aren't you? Because those are all very cheap players.
Yeah,
that's why you've got them. So how are you going to release any money to actually upgrade them?
No, I can release money because I've got. I'm probably going to go Hazard to Sanchez. Is probably what I'm going to do.
That's going the wrong way.
Or no, in terms of freeing up money, I had 4 million in the bank. So if I don't spend that, I'm going to have more reserves basically. So I'm not going to keep Aguero. I'm probably going to sell Aguero down to Kane. That'll get me 1.5 something. So I should be able to upgrade Anichibi and a Matt to, I don't know, around 4.5s. I mean, I don't know.
Are you going Costa to Aguero?
I'm going Costa to Aguero for the double, and then Aguero to Kane after that, probably, but after 28. So I'll play Aguero.
So you're still sitting on Anichibi and Amat.
No, I won't be. We'll see. I'm probably going to get rid of one of them at least for 28. Maybe not both. I may not be able to do both. It depends whether I go for Antonio in for Sterling, for example, or I'm happy not having Antonio and risking West Ham scoring a few at Bournemouth. I haven't decided yet.
I think, I mean, everyone went for Mane last week, and that's probably because you didn't have a Liverpool player, and he was the obvious one to go for because he'd done so much, in the last couple of weeks. But I've been sitting on Lallana, for quite a few weeks now. And whenever I've got rid of him in the past, I've regretted it because he's gone on to then score a goal. Now, he's my Liverpool player, and he's the cheapest out of all the midfielders. I reckon that you've had every single Liverpool midfielder in your side.
I have.
You have. You have had Mane, Coutinho, Firmino, definitely, and Lallana. You've had them all.
Yeah, no, I've had them all, yeah.
So you've been swapping and changing between them, but what happens with Liverpool players is they'll just share out the points.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold Mane beyond the blanks because I don't like. It's so difficult to spot what they're going to do. So I might go Mane to Sanchez. I might go Hazard to Sanchez. I haven't made up my mind. Sanchez is coming back for one of those two. It probably will be for Mane, but it depends what money I've got elsewhere. But yeah, I mean, I've been swapping the Liverpool midfielders. That's no crime. No one can figure out who the best one is.
Well, this is what I'm saying. That you might as well just have the cheap. This is why I've got kept Lallana. I'm not saying he's the best out of the lot, but he's the cheapest. And if they're going to be sharing out the points, at some point it's going to be his turn.
He's not the cheapest because Wijnaldum's got more points than him in the last 7 or 8 weeks, and he's even cheaper.
Oh, Wijnaldum, yeah. I wasn't even counting Wijnaldum.
No, but he has outscored Lallana recently. So
he's outscored Coutinho as well.
Well, he may have done, yeah, but it's difficult. I mean, so Andy, what are you doing for 28? I mean, I'm probably going to aim at 7, I reckon, maybe 8, but I'm probably going to be 7. What about you?
I think I'm on something like 8, but I've got Phillips, so I'm almost counting him as a no-go. If that was a hamstring, then he's probably going to be out longer term, but we'll see. I'm not really panicking too much about it. I kind of got the players in that I definitely want. I kind of wish I'd gone for Coleman last week over Funes Mori. The reason I didn't is just in case I needed people like Aguero to come in, so I wanted the money in the bank. So Coleman would be nice. But other than that, the only real fixture I'm looking at players that I don't already have in is Bournemouth and West Ham. So Josh King could be my Phillips replacement, and then maybe Antonio. But I don't think I'm going to have a slot for him. I don't think I want to take the hit to bring him in and then get rid of him because I don't think I want him long term. So I'm not panicking too much. I think everyone's going to be in the same boat, right? No one in FPL has got different fixtures than the rest of us. So I think we've all got the players we want in. Sigurdsson, Lukaku are the two main ones, plus like maybe 6 or 7 others. So if you can field 11 without like absolutely depleting your team over the next few weeks, then obviously go for it. But I'm not panicking too much about it, I don't think.
Yeah, I just don't see where the points are going to come from.
I think another thing is that people are thinking about we're thinking about game 26, 27, 28, and then game 29 is kind of thinking about that another day. But I think we can start thinking about that from game 28. And if you look at the fixtures from game week 29 to 33, so essentially if you are going to get more players in for game week 28, you want to make sure they're actually good to go for a good few game weeks yet. So if you're getting West Ham players in, they're pretty good fixtures after that. So that's okay, I think. And same with Swansea, definitely the same with Liverpool. Everton's a bit of a mixed bag, but they've got 3 nice home games. So Lukaku's good to keep, definitely. And perhaps some other Coleman as well. Whole bit of a mixed bag. But this is the danger zone. So West Brom, Bournemouth and Burnley have absolutely atrocious fixtures after game week 28. So do not think now, I'm going to get loads of those players in. I mean, I've got enough of those and I'll be looking to move them on. But I do not want those players after game week 28. Very happy to have West Ham, Swansea, Liverpool, Everton, and to some degree Hull as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at someone like Ryan Fraser as a 5th midfielder. I think it's okay if you're getting bench fodder in. That's okay because you go, well, I get Ryan Fraser in, he'll get me 2 points in game week 28, and then he'll replace Stanislaus, Phillips, or whoever it is. So that's an option. I'm probably not going to do that. But
Tom Carroll the same as well.
Yeah, Tom Carroll the same. But if you're looking at
swap for Swansea, so because they've got good fixtures, so it's okay if they come in. They can come in off your bench if needed, and West Ham as well. So your likes of Antonio, perhaps, or Lanzini, these types of players, fine. But once you get down to the West Broms and your Bournemouth, they were just so awful, the fixtures, that, they're just, I wouldn't be getting them in now, basically.
No, but so you're not going to get Rondon, but someone like James Morrison, who you think, well, that's going to be my 5th midfielder. I wouldn't get James Morrison in. No, well, I'm just saying that's for Hugh McGranville.
No, but I would get, but as I was saying, I would get a player West Ham or Swansea, who I think is going to be who's going to be bench fodder that could actually be of use. I mean, it's quite famous this season, Mark. The points that you get off the bench this season.
Don't know what he's talking about.
But the thing is,
every damn season he gets points off the bench.
I had this, a couple of people saying, when's Mark's jamming this going to end on it? But I was saying to her, it's not jamming this. It's having good bench players that come on. That's it.
I've only got one bench player who actually plays.
Yeah, but that's it. He keeps coming on. Chambers, isn't he? He just keeps popping on. But that's having a good bench. So they can be really, really useful. So you don't want to be messing around with your Bournemouth ones. You do want to be messing around with your West Ham ones.
I think Ryan Fraser's all right. I mean, you're right. I mean, I look at the next two. Swansea, Southampton, 29-30. That's fine. Terrible after that. But the last 5 fixtures of Bournemouth are pretty good. So if you're going to get someone like Fraser in, even King at a push, you might be okay benching. King's a bit too pricey though for me, but Fraser at 4.8, I think that's all right.
But then Bournemouth, game week 31, Liverpool away, game week 32, Chelsea at home, then Tottenham away, game week 32. That's an awful run.
No, but look at the run after that.
But after that, okay,
very, very strong.
But by then, we're going to be, as we're going to come to in a minute, we're going to be thinking about wild cards, double games. We're not going to be caring about these types of issues. So this is really for this up and coming bit. After that, we don't care.
No, that's a good point. Okay, let's move on. We'll touch on winter wild cards, shall we? Just quickly before the weekend preview. Go on then.
Yeah. So people are thinking winter wild card. Obviously, there's lots of temptation to do it. My personal advice would be don't do it until you know at least when a lot of the double game weeks are happening. From what Pacino tells me, it looks like game week 36 for a bumper bench boost. Game week 37 looks like a good time, but there could be other good times as well. But for me, that looks like that's going to be.
It's as simple as that, isn't it, Granville? We're not going to make the same mistake this season. It's going to be wildcard bench boost, isn't it?
Yeah, I think 36 probably, but let's see. I think it's too far away to really make that the plans. Let's get this double game week over with first and see what presents us.
The only thing that worries me, Andy, about this is bench boosting for game week 37 when everything could be done and dusted, and the team sheets are going to be a nightmare, aren't they?
They could be, and like you were saying earlier about will Chelsea have, they'll probably have the league wrapped up by then. I don't think anyone's betting against that. The only reason I kind of looked at an earlier wild card is because I've done the same as what you've just done when you were chatting about your transfers. You've mentioned getting a lot of players back, and you probably want them soon, but there's not that many game weeks for when their fixtures turn. So, for example, Kane's fixtures are really good after the blank. Yes, I'm going to want Sanchez back as well. There's probably some deadwood left over from these kind of blank fish I'd like to get rid of. I'd like to get some like Ibra back in if I get rid of him, etc., etc. And while we don't know when the double game weeks will be, we'll know at least the key players we want for them because we know who's going to double essentially over the next 10 weeks. The other side is though that of course if we were having a similar conversation 4 weeks ago, we'd have Jesus in our side right now, and he's obviously injured, and we don't know what's going to happen over the next 10 weeks of who's going to get injured. So yes, I want Sanchez in, but if he gets injured, that's an extra transfer I have to make, whereas someone with a wild card can just make the wild card decision.
Yeah, but I'd counter that by saying if we know that Kane and Sanchez have got double game weeks, which we do, spending 4 points on them, you're going to hopefully get them back, barring injury or suspension. So I'm less inclined to worry about taking hits. They could get injured. That is true, but it's a risk, isn't it? But
then what value are you placing on a bench boost right at the end of the season?
Good question.
For these 4 points all the way through.
It depends what else going on. The last season, there were problems with Liverpool because they're involved in Europa, and there was huge rotation. I mean, I've never seen rotation quite like it, actually.
That was like that, yeah.
And so yes, I think there could be that for Manchester United if they're still involved in all the cup competitions. So there could be an element of that with them. But for the teams that perhaps don't have much to play for, or they have lots to play for, but just the league, they're just concentrating on getting top 4 or avoiding relegation. They're great. They're going to put out their top sides. So yeah, we could have a problem with Chelsea because Chelsea could have wrapped it up by then.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be incredible. I think 37 is going to be the biggest double game week we've ever seen by the looks of it. By the look at the teams that have missed fixtures and the way the schedule's looking and the options they've got to place fixtures about, 37 could be huge.
Imagine that, the biggest double game week in FBL history.
When's the triple game coming for Man United?
Don't know. That could happen as well. We just don't know, do we? We just don't know. Granville, you look like you're teetering on the brink of saying something enlightening. No?
No, I was just saying, when are we finishing?
Oh, okay. Brilliant. Brilliant. That was exactly what I was waiting for. We're going to finish after the weekend preview, which is what we're doing now. So we'll go to Andy first for your clean sheets and your Fantasy Island risk. Off you go.
Well, my Fantasy Island risk, because I know what Johnny's going to pick, I can definitely get away with mine. So I'm going David Silva. Because I looked at the stats and he's highest chances created for City midfielders over the last 4. And I think he's 1 goal attempt behind Sterling. He's got the same in the box. So David Silva for me. And then clean sheet, I think there's quite a few probably from the lower league kind of lesser teams this week. So I'm going to take Swansea against Burnley. My man Alfie Mawson to get a clean sheet this week. I never put much faith in Burnley away from home. So
yeah, I think that's a good pick. Very good pick indeed. Okay, John, to yourself, clean sheets.
Stoke against Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough are rubbish at attacking, and Stoke are quite good at home. There we go. My fancy on a risk, it has to be, for old time's sake, Yaya Toure. He's on penalties. He's going to get his penalty, and it's going to be in the double game if they beat Huddersfield.
No, fair enough. Granville, yourself then. You'll be inclined to get this over with quickly.
Have we done Swansea? Did you do Swansea?
Yeah, Swansea's gone.
It's gone. Let's go for Leicester. They've got the. I have a feeling now they're going to know they're going to know what to do at the back.
Okay.
They had a great game against Liverpool. But where's his team been all week?
It's
all
crazy.
Season?
It's crazy.
And the Fancy Island risk got to be Gabbiadini. He's on fire, the man.
Is he allowed that, John T? I mean, can you get Greenwimble on the phone? I think, is he allowed that?
I don't know if he's a risk.
Yeah, well,
away to Watford, massive, huge striker. I think I would say Ward Prowse would be.
Yeah, I mean, 5 goals in 3 games. That's a hell of a risk.
Has anyone picked him though?
We'll let you have that. Well, no one's picked him. But he's been the most bought player for the last 3 game weeks, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's the most informed striker.
Well.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can have it.
Sorry. Come back to me in a sec.
Okay, well, I
will change it, but I don't want any other Southampton player.
No, okay, fair enough. Clean sheets. What am I going to go for this? All the best ones have gone, haven't they? I guess I've got to go Man United, haven't I? It's very tedious, but I don't see Bournemouth scoring in that. Might do, but I think there's still a good pick there, United. A lot of points there. Fancy on the risk. I'm going to go Berahino. I think he's coming in. They're playing Middlesbrough. And he could have 2 matches as well if the double game week is dropped. He might just score against Man City. You just don't know. So I think Berahino's a good one. You know, he's got a point to prove. He's going to get starts. Hughes is going to shuffle his team. So
the question is he going to play with Crouch?
No.
Maybe I'm the only person that wants to know that info.
I don't see it.
Crouch stream is over, isn't it?
I think Peter's on the bench, like little. You know, he's on the bench like that.
I'm going to get 2 points from Crouch over the double game. 1 point in each, I reckon.
Yeah, no. Granville, have you got one? Have you got a new one? You can have Gabbiadini if you like.
No, I'll change it. I'll go for a. Actually, I had Mawson, didn't I, a couple of weeks ago? Well, I don't think I've been on since then, so I think I'll take credit for that. Let's have a look. I don't know. Everyone's gone.
That's fair enough. We'll come back to you in an hour and a half. Let's do our transfers and captain.
No, because
well, we can talk more.
Let's go for Wijnaldum. Okay. We'll go for Wijnaldum.
Okay. Because Johnson and I can talk for another hour about the triple captain.
Oh, no, you can.
We can get the long version of his answer from earlier. Okay, transfers and captains. I'll do this quickly. We don't know if there's a double game. It's going to be Aguero if there is. Transfers already done. Sterling's come in for me, and it'll be Aguero in as well. I might, because Torres Magic is listing, I might make another one and get Sané in just to play mind games with him there. Put that in his debt. Put it in his head. He's 6 points ahead of me now, John T. I've got to try every trick I possibly can. So yes, that's what I might be doing. Andy, what are you up to?
Yeah, this ain't going to sound very logical, but if I decide not to use the triple captain, I'd actually be tempted by a Sterling captain instead of Aguero, but it'll probably be Aguero, let's be honest. I've actually just looked, I can actually get rid of Phillips for Sterling. And if I take out Ibra for Aguero, I can get Sané in as well for Terry, so I can triple up. I'm just getting rid of Ibra against Bournemouth. I don't know. But yeah, what I'll probably do is Mkhitaryan out and Lukaku out for Sterling and Aguero, and then get Lukaku back in 28. So that means I get to keep Ibra.
Yeah. No, I see the logic. It's just...
It's an extra transfer, yeah. It's whether I think... Yeah, I won't go through the maths. I've already done it before. You
got spreadsheets.
It's like an extra 4 points, and that's if Lukaku doesn't score. And as soon as he scores, it's even worse. Blah blah blah.
Fair enough.
That's my transfer.
Granville, what are you going to do?
There's a lot of talk today about transfer, about getting players out and bringing them back in. It's like you spent all your transfers up until the end of the season. I mean, I think Mark, you mentioned about 10 transfers that you're going to be doing in the next few weeks.
Yeah, well, why not?
Selling players and then getting them back.
Yeah, I'm going to take some hits.
Madness.
No, I'm going to take some hits. I'll probably be taking hits the next 3 or 4 weeks, but why not? So,
isn't that one interested in like Joe Allen or Peter Crouch? I know you've got Crouch, haven't you?
He's going to get benched now, Barry.
Crouch
I'm stuck with him, basically. If I didn't have him, there's no way I'd bring him in.
Because he was taken off, wasn't he? He went off early.
You do mention Joe Allen. I'm actually quite. I mean, for my third play, if I don't get Grant, I've got to replace Stanislas really. So I'd be looking at that kind of thing. So yes, Joe Allen is an option for that place. So possibly I'll look into that. Yeah.
I think my transfers are going to be I think Kane to Aguero and Hazard to Sterling. That's the way it looks right now. That's the one thing I can afford if I need to get City players in. Other than that, I mean, if City don't have the double game week, then I'll probably still get Sterling. I might get Sterling for Lallana. We'll see.
Okay.
I don't know. I hadn't actually looked at that. I just thought that City are definitely going to beat Huddersfield.
Well, but if they don't, they got a 28, so you're going to get your City players in.
Yeah, but it's whether I need to do that then. I mean, I've got good fixtures. I probably won't get Aguero in that case. I'd be looking just at getting Sterling.
This is all academic because by now people know that there is a double game week, probably because City have probably beaten Huddersfield. But anyway, we'll come to you last, John T. Captains and transfers.
Yeah, well, I'll be looking to get. I've got 2 frees, so Lukaku and Ali out for Sterling and Aguero and Captain Aguero, possibly triple Captain Aguero, and one other, as we discussed. I don't know which one that is yet. And then the following game week, I'll be looking to get Aguero back out for Lukaku.
Yeah, so you're both keeping Ibra, which is scaring me because that is a problem for me. But for me, it's like either Hazard or Ibra, and I look and Hazard's still beating him. He's beating him for points per match. Yeah, he's beating him for points and points per match, and he's cheaper. So
the thing is, what we haven't mentioned is that there is another option, and it's Pedro for Hazard.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, but
downgrade.
Yeah, I know, but I did a comparison, and I don't know. I'm still reluctant to that, but 7 million is a great price for him. But I mean, a double on the double game week, Pedro and Hazard would be outstanding. I think that's what we're all going to look at when that comes around. When it comes around. Yeah. Okay, it's been a very long Scoutcast. It's been fascinating stuff. We've had a big audience. A lot of people flooding in tonight listening to us gibbering on about triple captains and double game weeks and blanks. Don't worry, there's more of this to come. Next week, we'll be talking about the same subjects all over again. And Granville will probably be twiddling his thumbs going, when's this going to end? All over again. It's a good night for me.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, all.